No one tells you that sometimes you're not grieving the past. You're grieving the future. You're grieving the life that you thought you were going to have, the marriage that was supposed to last, the body that was supposed to keep working, the career that was supposed to finally make sense, the version of your life that you've been quietly building everything around. And when that changes, it's not just disappointment, but it can feel like the map that you were using to understand your entire life had been ripped out of your hands. Psychology has language for this. There's a theory called shattered assumptions. It says that when something deeply painful happens, it can break basic beliefs that we had been living inside. That life is somewhat predictable, that the world makes sense, that certain things are safe, that if we do things right, that life is going to go in some way that we imagined. So when you're grieving, you may not only be grieving the event itself, you may be grieving the collapse of the world that you thought you understood. This is why people can look fine from the outside, but be completely disoriented on the inside. Because they're not just asking, what happened? They're asking, what does my life mean now? Who am I now? What future do I have now that the life that I imagined is gone? Ancient wisdom has been pointing to the same truth for a long time. The Stoics taught that we suffer not only from what happens, but from the judgment that our life should have gone differently. Not because pain isn't real, but because the mind adds another layer, the argument with reality. Buddhism teaches that so much suffering comes from clinging, from needing impermanent things to stay the same, just so we can feel safe. And that's hard because we don't cling to things because we're weak. We cling to things because we love them. We cling because we've built a life around them. We cling because part of us is still trying to get a version back of ourselves that no longer exists. So if this is where you are, I don't think the first step is forcing yourself to move on. I think it's forcing yourself to tell the truth. The future you pictured mattered. The version of life you wanted mattered. The dream you were carrying mattered. But at some point, life asks you to do something impossible. Stop using your energy trying to return to the old map and begin asking what can still be built from where you actually are. And not the kind that tells you to pretend this is fine, but the kind that tells you to stop staring at what disappeared. The kind that asks, what's still here? Who's still here? What strength is still in me? What beauty hasn't been erased? What part of my life is still asking for me to live? Because sometimes the deepest grief is not the loss of what was, it's the loss of what you thought would be. You can grieve the life that didn't happen and still begin slowly to meet the life that is still here.